Hi, my name is Martin Hale from IT Masters and Charles Sturt University. In this short information session, we're going to cover the Master of Networking and Systems Administration from Charles Sturt University. Okay, let's start by having a look at the structure of the Masters. It says all the Masters, all of the Charles Sturt University Masters, it's 12 subjects in total. In this case, you've got 6 core subjects that everyone must do as part of their Masters, and then you get to pick 3 subjects from 2 pools of elective pools, one we call academic and one industry. One of the unique features of this Masters is its strong focus on industry certification. The concept behind it is that while you're doing a Master's degree, you're also being prepared for a range of industry certifications from Microsoft, Cisco, VMware, and a range of other vendors. We picked out the major, most popular certifications and tried to incorporate the content into the Masters. So as you're studying for your Masters and doing your subjects, you're also being prepared for these certifications on the way through. Obviously, if you've already got them, we will give you a credit for the subject, and that's a pretty simple process. You just go up on the IT Masters website and fill out the Am I Eligible form. Take about 5 minutes, and we will come back and confirm the level of credit that you would get. Just highlighting some of those example subjects there. If we look through having a look at the different subjects here, for instance, ITE 526 down there, practical internet networking, well, that's built around the Cisco CCNA and to some extent the CCNP certification. And again, if you've got the certifications, you'll be up for credit. ITE 514, and it's an elective, right? So it's not a core that you're required to do, but it's an interesting one. It's built around the most in demand of all the cybersecurity certifications, which is the CISSP certification. So quite a tough certification, but we built a subject around that one. And even over here, let's have a look at ITE 516, hacking countermeasures, built around the ethical hacking. Interesting name, isn't it? The university was a bit bemused when I told them this. Ethical hacking certification from the EC Council. So those subjects are then complemented by a range of more academic subjects, which will stretch you, I can assure you, in all sorts of ways. Certainly in the way you look at things, and particularly on how you research and present information. Okay, let's have a look at, what I thought I'd do is have a look at a couple of the subjects in more detail. Can't look at all of them, we'd be here all night, but let's have a look at it. I'll pick you a couple. The first one I've had a look at is what I call an academic subject. So this one is not built around helping you to prepare for industry certification as well, but it is, as you can see, a technical subject, definitely in its own right, all around internet networking and TCP/IP. So it complements the CCNA based subject beautifully, because it just looks at it in a whole different way, and particularly from a business perspective. There's some of the learning objectives there. I hope you understand more about it than I do, because it's certainly not my area. How do we assess that subject? Most assessments have 3 different assessments. Some have 4. This one's pretty interesting. It's got 5, albeit smaller ones. So it starts off with a small multiple choice assessment, just to test your knowledge of the theory. This is done early in the session. Then you've got a discussion on patch switched network versus circuit switched. So we're really looking for there your ability to discuss, obviously your understanding of both, but your ability to discuss and contrast the difference. Then you've got a practical assessment. It doesn't have the list there because that changes with the different sessions. Finally, an online quiz to retest some of the other stuff we've been covering as you've gone back. This is near the end, and there's finally an exam. So 5 different assessments, which is, as I say, a bit unusual, but certainly very comprehensive. Let's have a look at one of the industry subjects. One of many, I'm sure many of you will know well. This one's built around the Microsoft Certified Solutions Associate. or is it Systems Associate? MCSA anyway. They're made up of a number of industry certification exams. So again, if you've already got that certification, you'll be up for credit for this subject. We don't make you study stuff you already know. But if you haven't and you're interested, and I certainly think it's a good thing to have on your resume, the industry certifications, you would be prepared for this as you study the subject. As I'll show you, it's delivered by someone who's worked in the industry, that's right up to date with the certifications, and so you've got a dual thing going on. We're assessing you for the subject and also covering the core content from the certification. Actually, one of the main textbooks is the Microsoft Academy Study Guide for those certifications. So that's a unique factor of the Masters. Here's the learning objectives. If you went up and had a look at the MCSA objectives from up on the Microsoft site, you would recognise a number of these, because it's certainly based on them, and the content is definitely based around, very strongly around that certification. So, but the typical things you would expect, obviously, are very applied subjects, as most of the subjects are. We've really gone out of our way to make it applied, hands-on, as distinct from all academic. There's nothing wrong with academic, don't get me wrong. It's definitely great to, as I said, stretch your brain in all sorts of ways, but also in these Masters at least, you get to get your hands dirty as well, and labs, and prepare for certifications. And that's reflected in the assessment for this subject. We've got labs to do, again, very much the MCSA type labs that you would be required to do and pass. You do these remotely, as all of the courses delivered remotely, so you do them from home, but you'd have your own lab assessment set up, lab environment set up. Then you've got a major assignment, which is a network design scenario. You have to build an Active Directory and justify why you've designed it that way. And then you have a more traditional final exam, which has got a lot of multiple choice, which are very similar to the MCSA type questions you would get if you decided to pursue your certification, and some short answer questions as well. Okay, that's the assessment. Let's have a quick look at who's delivering it and who developed the subject, for that matter, and a number of the subjects in this Masters. A guy called Matt Constable, lives in country Victoria. He's 14 years as a network engineer, mainly with Bendigo Bank, but very high level, and he managed a team of level 3 network engineers. Certainly knows his stuff, and his certifications as well, particularly around internet working. Fantastic guy, and normally runs one, sometimes 2 subjects for us. I don't know where he gets the time, mind you, but and the way that works is he's working during the day, and then he comes home at night and gets on his computer and runs lectures and helps you as you're studying on the way through, all done remotely. All right. Okay, thanks very much. As I said, we haven't got time to cover them all, just a couple of subjects we had a look at. If you're interested from here, when can you start? Well, we have 3 study sessions a year, so you can start at the beginning of any of those. And if you're interested from here, what I suggest you do is have a good look at the website. Fill out the up on the, just to see what level of credit you might get you while you're doing that at the IT Masters. Fill out the Am I Eligible questionnaire. Take you 5 minutes, and a chap called Neil will come back and confirm what level of credit you would be qualified for. Any of your certifications, just list them, and we'll even look at ones that we can't currently recognised, as long as they're a major certification, and they university will assess them and quite often give credit for them. So definitely fill that form out. It's a good first step, and it's a good way to touch base with us to start off with. Or if you're old-fashioned, pick up the phone, for God's sake. I think people still do that, don't they? And call us here at IT Masters, have a talk, and if you want to, they can put you through to Neil to talk about credit, or what are the entrance requirements. Just in case you don't have an undergraduate degree, and would you believe it's 50% of the network administration, the latest census showed that 50% of the network administrators out there don't have any university qualifications at all, so it is absolutely not unusual. We're not going to make you go back and do a bachelor's degree. Providing you've got some good experience behind you, we've got a pathway straight into a master's degree. So you can also talk to us about that and talk to Neil about it. Okay, thanks for listening. Love to see you on the Master of Networking and System Administration. Love to catch up with you with a glass of Charles Sturt wine at graduation one day. But even if not, good luck with your future studies, and thanks for listening.